some of the most biggest and exciting reveals have been announced for Genshin Impact, and these are the top 5 new features coming with the 2.1 update. Just when you thought your days of exploring Genshin is over, MiHoYo has unveiled new additional islands coming to Inazuma in 2.1 update. Now, this isn't actually too surprising. They did mention we were getting only the first 3 islands initially, and these new ones they've shown during the livestream are pretty sharp and actually have a very strong theme to them. And that's because one of them features a constant lightning storm surrounding the whole island, and it just looks and feels quite otherworldly, so hopefully we get a proper explanation what's the whole deal behind those scary looking thunderstorms. On the other hand, the second island is a complete opposite and feels more calming and relaxing. That's mainly made up of water, so expect to find lots of lakes and waterfalls. But if you haven't noticed already, the strong theme that these islands have clearly indicate one is representing Hydro and other is Electro, which will become even more apparent as we move along to other new features. Looks like another festival is coming to Genshin Impact, which is celebrating a Moonlight event and offers some interesting activities, such as looking for special treasure chests out in the open world and some sort of a collectible oculi that you can grab in Liyue region, so it's nice to see they haven't forgotten the older zones of the game. And we can also see there's going to be more different activities associated with this event, but we'll get more info about it as the festival approaches closer. But that's not all. They've showcased one of the most ridiculous event rewards, which is going to be a literal fish claymore that Sayu is holding here, so now it makes you wonder how strong it's going to be, but it's good to see we are getting a new free-to-play weapon. Now for some combat-related events, there will be a very interesting one where you select multiple duos of characters and use them to beat various time trials filled with enemies. So this will definitely test some of those character pairs like Child and Xiangling, but perhaps we'll discover even more powerful compositions. Another event is a very similar one we had with Geo Bishops, where you'll need to utilize expeditions and even hunt down some sort of enemies we never saw before, so it's exciting that an event is actually bringing new and unique monsters into the game. There's also going to be another sign-in event where you can get up to 10 free intertwined fates, so make sure to log in during each day and get more of those wishes. And as for the whales, or at least someone who has the disposable income, they will get a nice little rebate on their next purchases because the double Genesis rewards are getting reset once the update goes live. Still, even with all these events shown, it's kind of sad we didn't hear anything mentioned regarding Genshin's anniversary, or maybe something was missed during the Chinese livestream, but this is quite a big deal for almost every gacha game out there and makes you wonder if MiHoYo is still holding something up their sleeve. When it comes to new content, you can always expect to see some new world bosses once in a while to get those ascension materials for the upcoming characters. This time around, the game is adding a Hydro Hypostasis that actually looks pretty interesting when compared to other Cube colleagues, but if that's not enough, there's also an Electro version of the Oceanid getting added, which makes you wonder how will we call this one. Let's just hope this boss isn't going to cause as much pain as the actual Oceanid, but the biggest reveal has to be Signora, who has somehow ended up in Inazuma and is going to be the next major boss we're going to fight in this update. Now, it's not clear what are her intentions for attacking us, since the storyline is a bit convoluted when it comes to her agenda, but it's clear she's going to be one mean enemy from all those attack animations we saw. But the biggest shocking reveal about her is the delusion power she has, which allows her to use Pyro Element and seriously looks like someone who might finally convince us to craft some of those pyro resistance potions. We finally got to take a look at the newest characters, and words cannot describe how much hype they're going to generate. First of all, we've got Raiden Shogun, the Electro Archon, who hasn't been on the most friendliest terms with the Traveler, so it makes you wonder how the game is going to explain her change of heart when she joins your party. But nonetheless, her showcase talents are quite interesting, and from the looks of it, there's a lot of things going on, like the fact she has this hoop or ring behind her back that indicates some sort of progress, and then the elemental skill itself looks like a powerful supportive ability that periodically damages enemies with a badass looking electro slash, so this is most likely going to be a godsend for those superconduct elemental reactions. But the biggest and most insane thing about her is the burst, where she goes into a sword mode and starts ripping the air with the cosmic looking attacks. And if you haven't figured it out already, she's actually a polearm user but switches to sword mode when she goes into her burst, which is kind of similar to Child's weapon switch. The other new 5-star character is Kokomi, and what's most exciting about her water is the hydro element, since we're definitely in a dire need to have more of it, but sadly her rarity will prevent a lot of players from obtaining her, so it looks like Barbara and Xingqiu are still going to carry the burden of representing hydro to the majority of player base. Now what's interesting about Kokomi is that she's also slightly similar to Raiden, because her burst empowers her normal attacks, although she still keeps the same weapon type, while the elemental skill is a nice little jellyfish she deploys that heals anyone who stands within its radius, and it seems it even attacks enemies, so expect some nice hydro application. But honestly, the best part about her is that cute floating ability she gains while in burst mode, and even better, she gets to walk on water. Finally, Kujo Sara is the 4-star representing the newest update, and she's definitely going for that ruthless commander impression. Now, we didn't get to learn much about her, but the talents seem to indicate she's more of a support character, like one of the animations show her retreating and then shooting out an explosive arrow to the ground, and her burst looks like your usual lightning eruption, which is what you would expect from an electro character. Most importantly, the timing of the banners were discussed, as Raiden and Kujo Sara together coming first, and then Kokomi is going to be on the second featured banner. This is probably a bit of a painful news for those who wanted extra 3 weeks to prepare for Raiden, but at least on the flip side, we are getting a new 4-star with Raiden on the same banner. And let's not forget we're getting new 5-star weapons that will accompany these new banners, which obviously at this point are going to be tailor-made for both Raiden and Kokomi. But while you always need Primo Gems to obtain new characters, let's not forget we're getting a free 5-star of this update, which is going to be Aloy, that you can redeem by logging in into either PlayStation 4 or 5 consoles. But if you cannot do this, then you'll still be able to unlock her, but only after October 13th, which is going to be the 2.2 update. So basically, those who can somehow log in through PlayStation get to play with Aloy one update earlier than others. But looking at her quick trailer showcase, she throws out cryo-infused grenades with her elemental skill that also gives some sort of buff to her in the form of a number, while the burst is your good old elemental explosion in a wide radius. All in all, the 2.1 update is going to be absolutely packed with new characters, so expect to see a lot of different team compositions in the next few coming weeks after the update arrives. Now, one thing a lot of RPGs have in common is fishing minigames, so MiHoYo finally decided to honor this tradition, and we will no longer need to use Klee's bombs to do the dirty work. In fact, it looks like this system is quite developed, as there's a lot of different fish you can catch, as well as exchange for rewards, so in all honesty, we're finally getting some relaxing open-world entertainment where we can sit back and just catch some fish. Just make sure it's not Fischl getting on the hook. Also, something that didn't get mentioned previously is that there's going to be a special fishing event where you can obtain a new fishing rod as well as other goodies, so whether you love or hate these sorts of minigames, there's still Primo Gems and Artifact XP potions waiting to be claimed. But to quickly summarize, we're going to be getting 2 new islands added into Inazuma, one of which is very aquatic and represents Hydro, and the other one is getting attacked by a massive thunderstorm and represents Electro, so expect lots of new quests and treasure chests from these 2 new islands. Then we're getting a ton of new events, some of the highlights being 10 free intertwined fates from a login event, as well as a new free-to-play claymore that's literally a giant fish. But if you're looking for new monsters to fight, we're going to be getting 2 new world bosses that coincidentally share the same elemental theme as the islands, which are going to be Hydro Hypostasis and Electro Oceanid. However, the biggest reveal was Signora, who will have several different fight phases and features an insanely cool delusion form that takes control over Pyro. Finally, as for the most important thing, we're getting 4 new characters in total, Raiden and Kujo Sara on the first banner, Kokomi on the second, and then you can also claim Aloy for free by using PlayStation platform or wait until 2.2 update and unlock her anyway. It's no secret a lot of us have been waiting for this update to reveal Raiden's Shogun and to learn what sort of anniversary gifts we're getting. But you have to admit the amount of content they're pushing out in 2.1 is admirable to say the least, and it's clear that MiHoYo just keeps ramping up their production values, so it's even more exciting to see what we will be getting next update. But if you found this video useful, you can help out the channel by subscribing to it and enabling the bell notification on, and don't forget to gently press the like button. You can also check out the official Gacha Gamer Twitter account for more news, and keep an eye on the pinned comment for the free Primo Gems before they expire. Thanks for watching till the end, and see you soon.